about the Derangement Syndrome, and it was written, let me see, I think I told you last week. It's written by Dr. Hurd. He says, what's Trump Derangement Syndrome? It's not about Donald Trump. Now, we've been saying that for a long time. Trump Derangement Syndrome is hatred. It's hatred of anything associated with opposition, dissension, or departure from all things related to government activism and social justice. It's hatred of capitalism. It's hatred of individual rights. It's hatred of the Constitution as it was originally conceived, with severely limited powers for the federal government and no income tax. Even if Donald Trump does not always stand for these things, he represents a departure from the consistent socialist communist line now espoused by most Democrats, and I will add in there to his many Republicans. It's hatred and loathing for anything that challenges what they believe. Because when you question the beliefs or views of someone with Trump Derangement Syndrome, you have blown a fan on the psychological house of cards, propping up their false self-esteem. Like most distorted emotions, Trump Derangement Syndrome is based on irrational fear. To the Democrats who acted like sullen children during President Trump's State of the Union address, remember we wrote a poem about that, the fear is of losing power. Their neurotic sense of power comes from feeling superior. The way they get to feel superior is by making people dependent on government programs that enhance their own sense of superiority and power. It also makes them financially wealthy, causing them to lash out at the rich they despise because on some level they have got to despise themselves for becoming what they claim to loathe. Rational people do not gain self-esteem or confidence from exercising power over others. They obtain confidence and self-esteem by developing and using their minds to produce valuable products, services, or personal and family relationships. Democrats like Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer, Hillary Clinton, and many of their Republican counterparts, like he says John McCain, we're going to have to throw in Mitt Romney now, have literally nothing but government power. It's all they know, it's all they want or care about, and it's the only thing that makes them feel alive or human. Why else do they remain in office decade after decade? President Trump and his supporters threaten them because they stand in the way of unlimited government growth, spending and regulating mandated and managed by socialist Democrats. He is brash, he is blunt, and not afraid to treat them as they are, which is phony, sycophantic. Power lusters they plainly are. Perhaps Donald Trump's greatest offense in their eyes is that he truly does not want or need any of this. He values the country and what remains of our Constitution, but he does not value what they crave. To the corrupt who rule over Imperial City, Donald Trump is the real enemy. He reminds them of what they are. He makes Democrats into particular wild with rage, because if he prevails, all they're about will wither away. If Trump succeeds, they will not matter. Not only will their power diminish, they will have to confront the fact that they have lived a parasitical, wasted lives in a corrupt city, mooching off the talents and brains and efforts of real people. And the truth hurts, especially those who have denied objective reality and simple truths for their entire lives. When you see that look of hatred on the faces of Nancy Pelosi and other Democrats, it's not really about Donald Trump. It's fear and self-loathing with nowhere to go. It's misery. The same misery they've inflicted on others reflected back into themselves. If only they would go away, how much better off would our country be? How much better off would we all be? It isn't President Donald Trump that they hate. He represents you, the people. He represents the Constitution, even though he doesn't always abide by it as he should. He represents a different way of governing from the D.C. occupiers who are occupying offices and cutting deals, Democrats and Republicans. He speaks for the people. He's not coming from the heartland, but I believe he's trying to come from his heart. I don't always agree with him. I don't always appreciate his methods. But it's time for the American people. They talk about President Donald Trump. I heard it called two years ago, the storm. It's time the American people be that storm and bring America home.